Sri Lankan military is denying firing any of the shells that hit the hospital.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Philip Reeves is NPR's South Asia correspondent. This is Morning Edition from NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from the Annie E. Casey Foundation, promoting lifelong family connections for children and youth in foster care, on the web at aecf.org.
This is Larry Mantle looking forward to our annual Film Week on Air Talk visit to the Egyptian Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. It's coming right up on Sunday, February 8th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Tickets are just $10, available at EgyptianTheater.com or at the door. Please come down and join us, and you'll have your chance to talk back to our critics about what films they liked, which ones they didn't, and what the Academy's choices were along the way. It's Sunday, February 8th, Film Week at the Egyptian.
I'm Marco Werman. Buddy Holly's death in a plane crash 50 years ago was a shock to music fans, and not just in the U.S. Buddy Holly was a star in Europe, some say bigger than Elvis. European fans shared their memories of Buddy Holly and the music that does not fade away. That's next time on The World.
Weekdays at noon on 89.3 KPCC.
There's an election on March 3rd. Yes, I mean you, LA voter. The first of 10 candidates for mayor is here to explain why you should vote for him. I'm Pat Morrison. We'll find out from the nation's Inspector General how the Iraq reconstruction's going and what we're getting for our taxpayer billions. And it's 50 years since the music died. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper perishing in a plane crash in Iowa. It's here today, beginning at 1 o'clock.
KPCC brings you in-depth news without commercials. You make that possible when taking the steps from KPCC listener to KPCC contributing member. Take that step today at kpcc.org. And thanks.
Support for NPR comes from the Annie E. Casey Foundation, promoting lifelong family connections for children and youth in foster care, on the web at aecf.org.
NPR's business news starts with a $20 laptop. On that House version, $819 billion. Right now, the Senate version is at $890 billion. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has more.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says he doubts the economic stimulus package can pass the Senate as is. Senate Republicans want to shift the emphasis of the stimulus package away from spending to tax cuts. They want to give corporations a tax break on money earned in other countries. They also want to provide more ways for money-losing companies to get tax refunds. The Senate Republicans' plan also includes a temporary patch to the alternative minimum tax, sparing millions of taxpayers from paying higher taxes. President Obama is calling on the Senate to move quickly to pass his stimulus package. He says once that happens, the administration will unveil a new strategy to revive the financial sector. Obama says Treasury will also have something to say about CEO bonuses in Washington. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
This is the third week of earnings season. We start the day with Mattel announcing its fourth quarter profits fell 46%. But it is the first Monday of February. There has to be room for a little optimism, right? New month, same challenges. The Dow and the S&P are coming off their worst January ever. Both saw a drop of more than 8% during the month. Asian markets closed mostly lower today, and shares in Europe remain lower this hour. Oil has dropped to below $41 a barrel. Oil workers in the U.S. are threatening a strike. Negotiations on wage increases continue through the weekend. GM is doing some of its own talking about tax relief. The New York Times reports GM is asking Congress to waive as much as $7 billion in taxes. The government already gave GM a $13 billion loan. Part of what the carmaker has to do by taking that money is shut down its job bank program. More now from Ashley Milne-Type. There are 1,600 workers in the GM jobs bank right now. Brian Fredline is president of a UAW local in Lansing, Michigan. He's worked for GM for 23 years. He accepts that the jobs bank had to go. but he's sorry.
Yeah, the perception was that it was thousands of people sitting around watching movies, playing cards and checkers all day long.
Not, he says, at the jobs bank where he spent time a couple of years ago.
Our membership was involved in local food banks, river cleanups. We built several Habitat for Humanity homes.
Rick McHugh is with the National Employment Law Project. He says those GM workers still in the jobs bank will now be laid off.
They will be out in the general labor market. They will draw state unemployment benefits. They'll also draw supplemental unemployment benefits.
They'll join the many more thousands of GM workers who've been laid off as car sales have tanked. I'm Ashley Milne-Type for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Thrivent Financial for Lutherans, a not-for-profit financial service provider helping its members navigate troubled economic times. Thrivent.com/new offers. And by the Medtronic Foundation, supporting Women Heart and its efforts to address the #1 killer of women in the United States, heart disease. MedtronicFoundation.org.
Former Senator Tom Daschle is going to face his former colleagues today. The prospective Health and Human Services Secretary faces questions about not paying his taxes on time. Confirmation hearings and questions about taxes. We've heard this before.
And now it's time for the Sloan Session.
Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner had his share of scrutiny about tax problems, and now he has a share of work to do when it comes to fixing our economy. Fortune Magazine's Alan Sloan is with us.